What's up, YouTube? Let's get the Facebook popping and let's begin. What's up? I'm here with the double stream. As always, God is great. I'm glad to even be here and be allowed to be here. So we're going to get it in while we can, folks. I want to talk about what we need to do, what MAGA needs to do in general to evolve in 2021. At first, I have my coffee. I haven't drank that much. Let's see what we're up to. If people want to, I might hit some jumping jacks and I might hit some workout. Let me see. The coffee's brand new. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to hit the jumping jacks today, but what's up, Diana? We're going to stay optimistic. We're going to stay positive. And I know a lot of people are freaking out. They're trying to sell you fear. But my slogan, I told y'all last time, I'm way too jacked to go to the gulag. I'm going to just keep getting stronger and stronger to the point where they just can't pull me to the gulag. Jokes aside, today I got some good stuff. Let me know. This is an interactive show, so I'm going to read some. Michael, what's going on? Do you guys want to see something funny first, or do you want to, let's see, or do you want to see something else? Let's see what's going on. I'm going to start with something funny while everybody's coming in. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is going to be backwards on Facebook, but this is going to be right side up on YouTube. I saw this on, y'all see this? I saw this on Twitter, so I printed it out. It's a Native American and his shirt says Caucasians. You see that? And they thought it was like this big jab. And I thought this was funny because I was like, first of all, I don't know any Caucasians who would be mad at this. Like they were like, look, we could do it to you too. And I was like, does anybody else want that team? I want that team. I feel like that would be my new favorite team. So, and then they would call it racist. I was like, I don't know anybody who would actually even be mad at that. So overall, I thought that was pretty funny how they're like, look, Caucasians, how do you feel? And I'm like, I feel great. I was like, I've always wanted a Caucasian sport team. Why not? For the, you know. Anyway, what's up? Someone said, has Trump signed the Insurrection Act? Folks, you could think what you want to think for the next 10 days. You could follow super secret wizard decoders who are going to tell you that there's a super plan for the military to arrest all your enemies, but it's probably not going to happen. And then in January 2021, you can come back here. I'll show you real quick. I didn't want to show you, but I'm kind of jacked up today. If y'all remember, I've been doing workouts and stuff because I'm like, listen, I'm going to turn this into an interactive fitness show. If times are going to get rough and everybody's crying, they're like, oh no, we're doomed. Oh, anomaly, be mad, be afraid. Don't say positive things. Be mad like me. I'm like, I'm not going to be mad. If it's really going to get crazy, I told you, I'm going to work out every single day on live stream until I'm 250 pounds of pure muscle mass. We can't do fear here, folks. Either times are going to get better than we think, or they're going to get worse than we think. I don't know. I don't have a magic ball, but all I'm going to say is someone said be a man. Exactly. I don't have time to be upset or afraid or cry about it. I'm just going to get way too jacked for the gulag. And I didn't want to drop it on you because I have actually like a full-blown message and stuff. This wasn't planned, but I want you guys to stay around because in general, I think this is some really key information and I'm going to debunk and dispel a lot of things. But you know how I said yesterday, I was like, I'm way too jacked for the gulag. I'm way too jacked for the gulag. I was joking. I got a beat and I'm like, I gotta write my own anthem for 2021. It's not out yet, but I started writing again yesterday. Ready? It's called Way Too Jacked for the Gulag. Let's go, folks. Let's get it in. All right. You know what I'm saying? I'm way too jacked for the gulag. I ain't getting caught like it was a game of school tag. AOC want to put me onto the food stamps, but I don't want government to make the move yet. I can't decide if I want a blonde or a brunette. Pandemic flow like it's coming out of Wuhan. I just praise Christ. Stay away, you humans. But if you want beef, I'm serving up the hoon. Hey, I'm way too fast for the gulag. I don't trust y'all like I don't trust the moon, man. Is he talking MTV or La Luna? The more they show, it's looking like the Truman. Get what I'm saying? Everything is zoomed in, left, right, trap. They set it up like a crewman. I'll be too good at rapping not to do this. Got 600 million views without the music. Hey, the First Amendment, that's for my mouth. The Second Amendment, that's for my house. I get why you want to take both, but I ain't going out without a bout. I ain't going out without a shout. Talking shit like boxes for the clout, but I don't want your money or attention. I just want to get my message out. I'm way too jacked for the gulag. I'm getting caught like it was a game of school tag. AFC want to put me onto the food stamps, but I don't want government to make the move yet. I can't decide if I want a blonde or a brunette. Pandemic flow like it's coming out of Wuhan. I just praise Christ. Stay away, you humans. But if you want beef, I'm serving up the hoon. Hey, it's not even done yet, folks. That's just, I didn't even mean to turn it into a whole session, but I was playing it this morning, getting jacked. I'm drinking coffee. I'm way too jacked for the gulag. I was just amped up, so I wanted to share that with you because I was like, that's one way to get heated up in the morning. So anyway, Gotta drink some water now. The real reason I'm here is to be serious. I'm a news reporter, folks. This is news analysis, but in general, I want to show y'all a tweet I had. I put out a tweet and I put it on Instagram and Facebook, and I got a lot of nice messages. I got a lot of mean messages, of course. That's just how it goes when you post on the internet. You guys know, every time you post something, your cousin yells at you, your brother yells at you, everybody's getting arguments on Facebook and Instagram. But in general, this was my tweet. I inverted it because I know it's inverted on on Facebook, and it's not inverted. So you're gonna see it the right way, one way, and then it's gonna be the wrong way. So I'm gonna do this for Facebook first. It says, you can see here, it says hating Trump supporters is a trap. Hating liberals is a trap. The people running the show are laughing at both sides. Let's do better this year. You can see that on YouTube as well. So I try to have a positive message. I'm like, listen, if you're a left winger and you're just hating on Trump supporters all the time, just give it up, okay? I feel like they're going to be upset. There's this one guy who had like a Trump tweet cake. The left doesn't know what to do with themselves. If they can't hate Trump, they don't have like an identity. A lot of them, not all of them. And then on the right wing, it's kind of the same thing. A lot of people just hate liberals and love Trump, where they're like, I'm just like, listen, it's a trap. There's people at the top on both sides, billionaires, tech giants, bankers. They're laughing at you guys. When people storm the Capitol with like a Viking hat on, that's not a threat. That's good for them. Now they can push mass censorship. Now they could call MAGA domestic terrorists. This is all part of their plan. When Antifa burns down a Starbucks, I don't think they really care that much. You're not fighting fascism, okay? They literally don't care. So I try to put out a positive message, and I got a lot of backlash, but I get it. A lot of people on the left hate the right. A lot of people on the right hate the left. I get it. But I want to just read a few comments that people said and just kind of show you how. And then I have more stuff. If you watch this whole video, and I won't go too long before questions, maybe 10, 20 minutes max, I think you'll learn a lot. And when you go back to these other accounts, please educate people, because I feel like we're getting trapped a little bit. But first person said, they're like, Anomalies, a Soros and a Gates shill. He's shilling for Soros and Gates. So I put out one positive message, and now I'm a Soros and Gates shill. First of all, if you follow my channel at all this year, I have multiple videos about Bill Gates. Me and him don't have the same worldview, pandemic view. I think there's few billionaires that I've been more critical of than Bill Gates, or at least exposés on like, this is who he is, this is what he thinks. I want you guys to know the facts about how he has a totally different political view than Donald Trump. So that's a total obvious lie. Soros, I talk about all the time, but I talk about accurately because I know Soros will send like a cease and desist type letter if you lie about him. A lot of people are sloppy and then they get a message in the mail. So Soros was just in my last video. I talk about him accurately. So it's like, I just want to show you guys how if you hate the left too much, you become the left, where it's like, what do people on the right complain about with the left? They say the left is too emotional. They're not grounded in reality because they're too emotional and they don't think logically. So I say one positive thing where I say, hey, don't hate the other side. Let's do better this year. And people get so emotional, they don't even look at my reporting. They don't look at my track record. They just make up lies about me and say, oh, he's a Soros and a Gates shill. That's the same. It's you become what you hate. You become the hypocrite when you just hate too much. It's like, the right became the left because they're just hating the left all the time. You're a shill for Soros. Like, that's what the left does. They're emotional and they can't put together a literal argument that even makes sense. It's like a straw man argument after straw man argument. A lot of people say I have to hate the left because the left hates me. They want me dead. And in many cases that may be true. I'm not knocking that there are people on the left in big business and on the ground that really hate MAGA and really hate the right wing. But my question is, what are you doing to counter it? And also, will you become the left if you hate them too much? I just want to, point out, I read the comments, not all the time, but on my Instagram, a lot of the accounts and a lot of the people that were most upset that I said, hey, don't hate Trump supporters, don't hate the left, the people at the top are laughing at you. It's people that became the left wing last year, the same exact thing. You guys know, if you follow me from March through now, I talked about Operation Warp Speed. I talked about Fauci, Gates. I talked about Trump, Pence, everybody's involvement on the bipartisan shutdowns. And a lot of people, they didn't want to see Trump's involvement in it. So they said, no, Operation Warp Speed, that's not what it is. Anomaly, that's literally what it is. It's a, mRNA vaccine being pushed through emergency approval to the public. But anyway, it's like they became the left last year because they hate the left so much that they just want to win. And they love Trump so much, they just want to win. But when winning becomes a bipartisan socialist communist lockdown, and I just say rationally, I'm like, listen, I'm going to vote for Trump because Biden sucks. But I feel like the right wing is going too far left. I feel like the right wing is becoming socialist. They shut down the country, all 50 states, and then they sent you out a $1,600 paycheck or whatever. So, I just find it shocking that the people that are so mad that I said what I said, which is, you can read it right here. I said, hating Trump is a trap. Hating Trump supporters, hating liberals is a trap. The people are laughing at us at the top. The people that got the most mad literally became the left last year by supporting socialism and communism and Operation Warp Speed, Big Pharma tactics, because they're in this dual party dichotomy where obviously I lean to the right. It's no secret, but it's like they get you in this arena, they keep you in this arena, they give you two characters, and then you're fighting about the characters, but everything under the sun doesn't revolve around that type of stuff. And I think this next thing I'm going to share is something that you'll very rarely hear in conservative circles, either because they're sold out, bought out by these people, or just because they're, dishonest, or maybe because I know, being more conservative and going to conservative events, this is like a do not say. What I'm about to say is like taboo. It's like he who must not be named in Harry Potter or whatever. Like, you don't want to say this. This could get you kicked out of CPAC. This could get you kicked out of Turning Point. This will get you blacklisted and barred from right-wing events. So it's the biggest blind spot in the conservative movement, but it's perhaps maybe the most important one, which is why everybody always feels so upset and a step behind. But until we know what we're talking about, we're just going to be like chickens with our heads because I'm running in circles, pissed off all the time. That's why I'm like, let's not be pissed off. Let's get two jacks that go to the gulag. Let's start a business. Let's do something. Let's protect ourselves. If times get bad, are we going to cry about it? No, we're going to figure out solutions. We're not that. But other people that are getting mad at my positive message, they're like chickens with their head cut off. They're just running in circles all the time, acting like they're tough guys. It's like, how many tough guys have you seen that are like, oh, Trump's your president, Trump's your president. And now that like Trump probably is not going to be there, they're like, oh my God, panic, 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 fear, fear, fear. I'm like, you're the ones that are telling me that I'm fearful and pessimistic. You guys are the ones that are telling me that I'm not a true conservative. Like, you guys are chickens with your heads cut off. You don't know what you're doing because you're just like falling for every trap and just putting on like pom-poms. So I'm gonna drop the wisdom that'll get you kicked out of a lot of these conservative groups because I don't really care. But here's just something that happened within the last month or so. Well, today, Sheldon Adelson died. If you guys saw the headline, Sheldon Adelson, rest in peace, is one of the country's richest people. Sheldon Adelson is in many ways like the Soros type figure of the left wing. He's a massive donor to Trump, to the GOP, to all type of conservative movements. He's the big guy that really puts the money into right-wing politics, and he passed away. I just want to show you earlier this year, you could see Don Jr. saying he's a patriot. This guy's the best because, he lined a lot of their pockets and gave conservatives like huge establishment money to do big stuff. But this is earlier this year. Someone named Jonathan Pollard was pardoned by President Trump and released, who spent 30 years in prison for spying for Israel. And Sheldon Adelson lobbied Trump to get him pardoned. This guy got pardoned. Sheldon Adelson gave him one of his jets. He flew over to Israel, and they gave him a hero's welcome. Netanyahu was there, and they all were like, thank you so much. Why was Jonathan Pollard arrested in the United States? I'm reading right off of AP right now. I know AP is not the best outlet, but this is pretty, you can find it on Breitbart and stuff. It's pretty standard. Pollard, a civilian intelligence analyst for the U.S. Navy, sold military secrets to Israel while working at the Pentagon in the 1980s. He was arrested in 1985 after trying unsuccessfully to gain asylum at the Israeli embassy in Washington and pleaded guilty. The espionage affair embarrassed Israel and tarnished its relations with the United States for years. So he was an Israeli spy who stole a bunch of military secrets and gave them to Israel. And if you guys do your research, you can find out that Israel and China, there were a lot of reports around that time or after, where Israel was selling United States military secrets to China. So you guys think you're fighting China. Meanwhile, your best allies are working with China. And you can find all sorts of articles that say, Israel has a lot of power. So when it comes to America, they're our greatest allies in the sense of we give them billions of dollars of aid. Both parties bow down to them and worship them. Trump and the GOP is like, Israel first, America second. They have power over the US, but they can also go to China and do deals because they have the US in their balls. I mean, no one wants to say it. It's not anti-Semitic. It's just basic truth and power structures of how the world works. So they go do deals with China. They do deals with America. They don't really care. They spy on America. They steal US military secrets. Trump bails them out because people like Sheldon Adelson and Jared Kushner and Alan Dershowitz, are who he keeps the closest. So the point that I'm trying to get to is, in general, this is stuff that I've tried to talk about for years. And I get a lot of backlash. People don't want to hear it. They call it anti-Semitic. They say you're so blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay, if you want to be a chicken with your head cut off, Operation Warp Speed, we're fighting China. It's like, that's what the conservative movement looks. Anomaly, why are you so positive? You're not fighting anybody. You don't even know how the country works. You don't know how the GOP works. You don't know how any of it works. So it's just a big circus put on to make you feel like you're actually accomplishing something. But there's multiple reasons. This is not the only one, but there's multiple reasons that, the country ends up where it is and the world ends up where it is. And the GOP ends up collapsed and shattered, and you have nothing to show for it but a wall. And that wall now, it can very likely be just as easily as it keeps, Mexicans and South Americans from coming in. It might keep you from leaving, which a lot of people said years ago, which I thought was silly. But now with the coronavirus pandemic and the left wing taking over government, that wall might just as well keep you inside just as much as it keeps people out from coming in, which is something to think about. But in general, what I'm trying to say is, it's not to be hateful. It's not to be a horrible person. Someone said that's a turkey. I get it. My chicken sounds like a turkey. Okay, I'm not the best voice actor when it comes to animals. But in general, this is not a hateful statement. I'm just being honest. If you think there's no dynamic to the right wing where it's like, oh, we're so fighting for America, there's no other, it's like, no, the Zionists control the Republican Party completely. And the reason that I talk about that is not because I hate Israel. That's the straw man argument. If you disagree with what Trump's doing, you hate Israel. If you don't want Israeli spies to steal US military secrets, you're anti-Semitic. No, that's not true. I like Jewish people. I like Israel. I like Israelis a lot, actually. But this is just how it works. In 2019, I told you guys when Trump should have been fighting big tech, when McConnell and McCarthy and whatever they call themselves at the Republican Party, when they should have been taking on big tech to save the election, to save their supporters, to save the country, they blew it. It's not just the left. It's the Republican Party. They were passing anti-Semitism speech bills. I reported on it then. It was very, very, unpopular to say. Do you think Trump just thought to himself, man, you know what we need? We need to stop Israel protests on college campus. You know what we need? We need to take away more speech. We need to create more safe spaces on college campuses while Dennis Prager, tells people that we're fighting for safe spaces when they're really not. They're giving up just as much as they're fighting for. Do you think Trump, of course he didn't. Sheldon Adelson, Kushner, these type of people who work and fund him said, hey, Trump, we don't want this to happen on college campus. So Trump infringes on the First Amendment for who? For the country? No. For me? No. For Jewish Americans? Absolutely not. For the Constitution? Of course not. This is he does it for the Adelsons of the world, the Kushners of the world, the Dershowitz of the world, these people who want laws and legislations to protect the country that they care about more than America. And a lot of these speech laws that they're passing, which are anti-constitutional, they say that it's anti-Semitism. This is pretty much agreed upon by the ADL, Nancy Pelosi, Trump. The only thing they agree on, Schumer, they think it's anti-Semitic to suggest anyone has dual loyalty. So did Jonathan Pollard have dual loyalty when he stole, U.S. Navy secrets and sold them to Israel? Obviously, he had dual loyalty. He had not just dual loyalty. He had more loyalty to Israel than he had to America, just like Sheldon Adelson. I mean, rest in peace. God bless the guy. But he said on camera, I fought in the U.S. Army. I wish I fought for, the IDF. It's like these people funnel all their money into the GOP. They're not pushing America first. They're not looking out for truckers and farmers and, all the interests that you think Trump cares about. They're lobbying the Republican Party to be an Israel first party and look out for Israel's best interests militarily, economically, strategically at the cost of America. They don't care if it costs your military or your kids. They don't care if it costs your country. They don't care if it costs your First Amendment. They don't care if it costs your military secrets. They don't care at all. And I've known this for years. And I tried to tell people, but people are so caught in that zone where they just don't want to hear it. They're like, I'm fighting China. So you think you're fighting China while Trump is pardoning people who gave military secrets to Israel, who stole them from the US and quite possibly gave them to China in the 1990s. You're fighting China. You're not fighting China, just like Trump's not fighting China. I know people don't want to hear this, but if you look at China, I found this out interesting today. Someone messaged me on Instagram. Thanks for the tip. They said, Anomaly, isn't it weird that China is pushing normal vaccines? A normal vaccine is a virus vaccine. They have a little bit deactivated virus, I think they call it. You know, never before have we used an mRNA vaccine. So China's not using the Pfizer and Moderna mRNA vaccines. China's using a normal vaccine, which is, you know, a little bit of the deactivated virus or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So that's, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor. So, you know, research, listen to the CDC, Fauci will lead you to wherever, but whatever. In my opinion, I trust those more than regular ones. I don't trust anyone really that much, but I think that's a lot safer. And that's what China's doing. So Trump is rushing an emergency approval and Operation Warp Speeding these brand new mRNA vaccines, which is synthetic mRNA. You know, you look at the side effects, you look at the immunity that they have in the United States. How is he fighting China? In my opinion, China's setting their citizens up for success and safety, and Trump's setting his citizens up for failure and danger. So, you know, I don't think what he did at all was good. I think that was maybe perhaps the biggest betrayal of his entire presidency. So the point I'm getting to is I look at these conservatives who get mad at this statement where I'm being positive and I say, listen, I'll show you again. Hopefully y'all can see it. You know, I said, hating Trump supporters is a trap. Hating liberals is a trap. The people running the show are laughing at both sides. Let's do better this year, which is very true. But the people that got most upset, which I find interesting, and I don't care, just to kind of show you how it works, is two types of people. One, emotional people who say, oh, Anomaly's working with Soros and Bill Gates, which is obviously not true if you've ever seen my reporting. That's the emotional response to somebody who says something they don't want to hear, so they freak out and get emotional and start lying. Does that sound familiar? That's what liberals do. You hate the left, you become the left. The other thing that I heard is they hate me. I hate them, so they hate me. And these are the same people that defended Operation Warp Speed. These are the same people that defended socialism and communism when it came to America in 2019 because Trump was at the helm. These are the same people who have no idea about the Sheldon Adelsons, Jared Kushners, and the Zionist first movement in the Republican Party. That is the reason you're always 2 days late and $1 short, because your America First agenda never gets a priority. Does that mean I hate Israel? Of course not. I have no problem with Israel. I just like America more than I like Israel. And I would think that Israelis like Israel more than they like America. You should. You shouldn't like America more than Israel. If you like America more than Israel, move to America. If you like Israel more than America, move to Israel. But, I'm Polish, I'm Italian, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Czechoslovakian. If I liked Italy or Poland more than I liked America, I'd move there. But I like America. I'm American. But what they do is they prioritize another country before ours, merge them at the hip. But it's a one-sided relationship, really, where we're just funneling money, military, and resources to one country. And in return, they're passing speech laws here to say that we can't say that they're doing it. I know they're doing it. I have the receipts that they're doing it. And Trump and Kushner pass all these speech laws to try to take away my free speech. So I tried to tell people this a year ago. I'm not saying the left doesn't hate you. They might. Millions of people probably do hate you. Millions of people are probably lost in the sauce the same way that you're lost in the sauce. So I'm just being nicer this year, and I'm getting way too jacked to go to the gulag, obviously. But in general, this is how they get you. You hate them, they hate you. Neither side knows what they're doing. You hate the left, but you don't even know what's going on your own side. And people are starting to realize that. They thought Pence was a messiah a year ago. Now they hate Pence. They think he's a traitor. They thought Mitch McConnell was better than Pelosi. Now they think they thought. So you get what, it's like a chicken with your head cut off game where it's like, yes, the left is clearly going to go socialist, communist. But the people that you thought were on your side, or at least the people that were on your side, you had this like blind worship type, they're going to solve every problem under the sun ever. They could never make a mistake. It's all 5-dimensional chess. I'm going to take the Bible and invoke God's name and spew out a bunch of lies and tie it to the Bible and say that Trump's Jesus, or no, he's not, but he's part of, it's like, no, he's not, and every time he makes a mistake or does something, people just close their eyes and say, it doesn't exist. It's not real. The Insurrection Act's coming soon. He's still got to put, there is no plan. He messed up. And in general, like everybody else who comes into office, like Reagan, I'm sure Reagan was a nice guy, but he did 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that really put America in a bad space. I think Reagan was probably a great president, but he signed the National Childhood Safety Vaccine Act. I forget the name of it, which gave immunity to, a lot of these vaccine companies so they can't be held liable. In my opinion, that's a huge betrayal. I don't blame him for the whole world, but it's like, was he like Moses parting the seas? No, he was just another politician who fell short of being perfect like everyone. And same with Trump. But that's, I think, what, in order to evolve, people need to learn this stuff. Because if you don't learn some of the stuff I just told you, you're never going to understand the power dynamic at all. And that's kind of what's going to drive even the Democrat Party. So there's multiple layers to it. There's other countries involved. There's Saudi Arabia. There's Russia. There's religious battles. There's financial battles. There's multinational corporations. It's all real. Banks have a lot of power. So does Google and Facebook and Instagram. Like, this is all true. But, when I say something positive, I'm not selling out. I'm not becoming the left. I'm just telling you. And maybe this is why I've even become even more sympathetic to the left wing recently, is because for a while, I think I was always probably nicer than the average conservative account. But for a while, I really thought the MAGA movement and conservatives were really going to pull through and really get it. And then I saw them kind of just ignoring this stuff and really becoming the left, like total cognitive dissonance, not admitting when they're wrong, total hypocrisy. And then it made me realize, like, okay, if you're going to do this, then I should have sympathy and empathy for the left the same way I have for you guys. Because when a MAGA person doesn't understand this stuff, and when they start, going down the wrong path, I don't just hate on them, except for the Q people. They really annoy me. But in general, maybe that's what's happening to tens of millions of liberals. Like, they don't even know what they're doing because they're so bought in to the team blue. And that's what you see in the Republican Party right now. It's like so many people are caught into team red. I watched some of my allies, and it's someone wants me to do the chicken dance again, but a lot of my allies and a lot of my peers, the ones that are the most upset at me saying this, they're not that accurate with what they say. They're like 70% accurate, 30% inaccurate. They don't want to admit this, don't want to admit this, don't want to admit this, don't know this. When you tell them this, they call it anti-Semitic. When you call it this, they say you're a traitor. They don't want to hear about Trump's role in Operation Warp Speed. They don't. So it's like, at what point are you just as crummy as the left-wing guy who's caught in that cycle? So that's why I put out that tweet. I'm like, hating Trump supporters is a trap. When you hate Trump supporters, it's just mean. And also, you're wrong. You're hating Trump supporters for like a bunch of billionaire bankers that want you to feel that way. You're not the resistance. You're with Amazon. You're with Google. You're with Citibank. Like, they're all on your side. You're not anti-corporate. Every corporation is left wing at this point. Watch how they deplatform Trump. I'm going to do a video on it soon. It's disgusting. But in general, they're falling into that trap, and then the right's falling into the trap, and that's the game. That's why I say that. Not to support what's going on, not to support gulags or anything, just because it's like, this is why you're going to go to the gulag. It's not, you're going to end up there if you end up there because you fell for every trap, not just on the left wing, but on the right wing too, and that's where I'm going to end it today. One more thing real quick. I think the psychology, I've said this before, but I'll wrap it up to make it short. The psychology of a hypocrite. And I just want to say this real quick. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, like everybody else. I'm flawed. I never claim to be. I'm not trying to act like I'm holier than thou. I promise you I'm not. I'm a human just like everybody else who makes mistakes on a daily basis. However, as a news reporter and as an analyst who knows I have an influence and actually genuinely wants to do what's right, when I say I'm not fake news, I'm not fake news. I'm striving to be real. I'm striving to be true. And if I mess up, I'm very self-aware. I think that's one of my best qualities is self-awareness. And in order to have self-accountability, you have to be self-aware. Self-accountability is harder, but if you don't even know that you're doing it, self-awareness, how could you be self-accountability? So that's the first step. I think that's my strong point. A lot of people don't have that. So you become a hypocrite when you have no self-awareness. When you're left-wing and you think, I hate Trump supporters. I hate them so much. I'll do anything. I'll lie. I'll cheat. I'll steal. I'll become a bad person. They're racist. I'm racist. Who's the most, like, I showed you this picture because I think it's hilarious. This guy thinks this is like a bad thing. He's like, it says Caucasians. If you can't see if it's backwards, they're like, ooh, how does this make you feel? And I'm like, I love it. I think it's hilarious. I would laugh so hard if there was a team called Caucasians. I think that'd be fantastic. Who would get the most mad at this? Not right-wingers. Right-wingers would love this. This is hilarious. It would be left-wingers. So left-wingers get mad when it's the Redskins. Then they change it to Caucasian. They would get mad at this. They'd say it's race. It's like, it's always them. So the point I'm getting to is they hate you so much, they become what they hate. They hate racism. They're the racist. Their whole ideology is based on skin color over content of character. They don't even like skin color. This is the big trap, and I'm writing about it a little bit in my book. They just claim to like Black and Hispanic. If you're Black and Hispanic and you're not liberal, if you're like super conservative and you love the country, watch how much they like Black. They don't like you because of your skin color. They like Black and Hispanic people who can push the agenda that they have. And if anybody stands in their way, they will crush you just as hard. That's why they have an obsession with like Candace Owens and stuff. They hate her more than they hate me. Why? Because they hate Black people who won't bow down to them. It's this really weird thing. They love to control. So it's like they don't really like Black people. They like controlling Black people to push the agenda that they want to push. So they're not real. When they say Black Lives Matter, they don't mean it. They mean Black lives who can strategically push left-wing agenda and be our useful idiot matter. And any Black life that doesn't want to do what we want to do and can't push our agenda must be crushed. When they say all lives matter, or when they say all lives don't matter and all lives matter bothers them, believe them when they say that. They really don't think all lives matter. And you're going to see that over the next few years. But in general, the psychology of the hypocrite is no self-awareness, no self-accountability. I hate you so much on the right. I will lie. I will become fake news. I will become evil. I will become a hypocrite. I will become racist in order to beat you. And then what happens? They become miserable, horrible people. That's what happens. On the right wing, I think it's not as bad, to be quite fair, but that's what I'm seeing with a lot of people. So when I post simple, positive messages like that, I'm not a traitor. I'm not left wing. In many cases, I'm further right wing than a lot of these people. They just don't see it. You know, I'm not a libertarian, but in some ways they're willing to sacrifice value and liberty for worship of Trump. I'm not so much. I like Trump when he's closing the country down. I don't agree with it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Pence. So in many ways, I'm further right than they are because I actually believe what I say, and they're just putting on pom-poms. Blah, 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 blah. I know you guys like that, so I'm doing my turkey with the head cut off, chicken with the head. Okay, I get it. It's not a chicken. It's not a turkey, whatever. But in general, that's the same psychology. It's destroying MAGA right now. It's destroying the right wing. It's this idea that I don't need self-awareness. I don't need self-accountability. I'm so much better than the left. I hate them so much. I'm going to fight them. I hate them. You become the left. I find it shocking. The people that were the most mad at my post were the ones that became the left, made excuses for socialism, made excuses for communism, made excuses for Operation Warp Speed, made excuses for five-dimensional wizard plans. Trump's becoming the left to fight the left. Made excuses and then got emotional and just started spewing straw man arguments that anomalies working for George Soros and Bill Gates. Do you know any right wingers who post more videos about Bill Gates than I do? I think I have more videos on Bill Gates than Fox News does. And I get away with it. One, because I'm very careful with how I do. I don't just say, well, Bill Gates is doing this, this, and this because I want it to be. It's like, I don't have, and the irony is like they project onto me. I'm confident, I have self-esteem, but my ego is not high. So I know when it's like, I'm not more important than what I'm saying. I need to check what I'm saying. It's not like me up against, it's like, no, my value is in the fact that I don't lie to people. So I work, some people are like, I'll just say whatever. Like, no, I'll show you that Bill Gates really is making genetically modified mosquitoes and he's releasing them in Florida and Texas. That's real. Look at, I'll show you the articles, but it's like, I talk about it. I'm just not spewing whatever I want. This is these people. That's like ego and lack of self-awareness. Like, whatever I feel must be real. I hate the left. So here's a bunch of information. 70% of it's true. 30% of it's not true. But here, take it. And that's what you sound like to me. And then you're like, we're fighting. You don't, how are you fighting the left? How are you fighting? You're fighting the left by becoming the left. You're fighting the left by making excuses for socialism. You're fighting the left by lying to people for 7 months and telling them that Operation Warp Speed was a plan for Trump to fight Bill Gates, when in reality, it was a collaboration with Bill Gates and Gavi and Moderna. That's just what it was. If you like that, it is what it is. I'm not telling people what to feel. I'll tell you my opinions, but it's like, at least I have more respect for the conservative that says, hey, anomaly, Operation Warp Speed, I agree with it because Trump's trying to get the vaccine out to the elderly. I have more respect for that person, although I disagree with it morally, than the conservative who says, I'm a truther, I'm so much better than Anomaly. And they'll say, Operation Warp Speed is a super secret wizard plan to fight Bill Gates in the future, like Vincent Kennedy, that fraud. I'm upset that he got kicked off Twitter because I was ready to tell him what a coward and a fraud he was as a man to mislead like millions of MAGA moms into delusion. But in general, he's like, it's a plan to fight Bill Gates in the future. I have no respect for these people. They're total con artists. They're totally liars. Their ego is so big, they think they're above it all. And then they project onto you all the time. Anomaly, you've been so pessimistic. It's like, no, I've been like I've been so optimistic that people hate me for my optimism. They're calling me a traitor and a left because I'm not as pissed off as them. And the reason I'm not that as pissed off as them is for two reasons. One, I kind of saw this coming 2 years ago. And when I tried to report on it, no one wanted to listen. So I've had my coping mechanism of like, okay, we're going that way anyway. And also I'm not weak and cowardly like these people. I mean, how many people told you for years, they're like, Trump's your president, poop, acting all tough at Trump rallies. And then the second that Trump's not going to win, they freak out and they turn into like try to scare you with fear, like grown men saying, oh my God, be afraid, be a fear. It's like, you guys are such phonies. How tough are you really? This shows you what a tough guy is. Are you ready for the House, the Senate, and the presidency under Democrats? That'll show you how tough you really are. Do I seem afraid? I'm not afraid. I just told you I'm way too jacked for the gulag. They're not. That's my joke. But in general, someone said they've got to this dude. This is the funny part. I mean, I'm reading some of the comments. Obviously, a lot of people get it, but so many of these comments I'm seeing, he's lost it. They've gotten to him. If you listen to this front to back, I don't know how much more clear I could have possibly been. Everything that I said debunks all this other wizardry, but a lot of people, they want to be chickens with their head cut off. They want to run in circles and say, blah, 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 I'm fighting the left. By blah, blah, blah. How are you fighting the left? You have no idea of how the Republican Party even works. You have no idea. It's funny to me, but God bless you anyway. No one got to me. Quite the opposite, actually. I am honest, and I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not just someone who pops up at a rally, says the same thing a million times, and then when my reality shatters, I don't know what to do. I'll be fine regardless of what happens because I'm mentally prepared for whatever. I can't determine the future, but I can fix what I'm doing and be the best version of myself I could be. I don't know. Someone said you went from 9,000 people in your live feeds to 2,500. What happens? It depends on the topic. I mean, I had 10,000 people between two the other day. Now I have 5,000, 6,000. This is standard. I'm not going to get 10,000 people every single day, but sometimes it's 6,000, sometimes it's 7, 5. It's not a big deal. And YouTube generally goes up as I go and Facebook goes down. That's just how it works based on the algorithm and how they throw it out. If Facebook throws it all out at once, YouTube keeps it there. So this is not any really shocker to me at all. I'll read some comments though, but in general, I mean, I don't know how much more clear I could have been. So I'd love to answer some questions and debunk any sort of things that people are saying. If you think I lost it or you think I sold out or something, explain yourself. Say what you disagree with instead of the straw man. And I would love to combat it. No one's gotten to me. No one's paid me. I'm the most free person. What I just told you about Sheldon Adelson and Jonathan Pollard and what really goes on in the Republican Party, that's the type of stuff that you're not allowed to say. If you work for most of these big right-wing companies, that's their ideology. That's their socio-political, religious ideology. So if you even question it, it's equivalent to questioning the left wing. They're so close-minded about that stuff. And I've seen that for a year. That's why I realize, I'm like, how are you pro-free speech when you'll sell out free speech for Israel? How are you pro, safe space or anti-safe space when you guys are creating new safe spaces? I never understood it. So this is not a big shocker, but in general, I'm not only not sold out, I'm one of the only people that can freely tell you this stuff, because most people who get money from other people, they're not allowed to say this. This will get you fired so fast from all the big Republican things. I just don't care. I show up and everybody loves me anyway. Say, Anomaly, good to see you. I don't need to get booked. I don't need their money. I don't need their booking gigs. I don't care. I really don't. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. All right. I'll read some questions and comments though. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see. I'm going to read this real quick. Let's see. Jason Siak said, what's up, Jason? He said, all good, man. We need to be strong and stand up for the Constitution. Those on the liberal side will reap these consequences. For sure, this is the time to be strong. It's not the time to be fearful or scared or paranoid. It's the time to be prepared. Don't be scared. Be prepared and be strong. A lot of people, and I'll say this and I'll read some more things. A lot of people stood behind Trump and just said, you do it for me. And I understand why. He was crushing it, in my opinion, for 3 years. Crushing. I'm not knocking anybody, but this will show you who's really tough and who's really not. Just like the lockdowns did. Who really did great reporting on the lockdowns and who just were another cheerleader that didn't know what to do. This, tough times. It's like they say tough times show you who your real friends are. It's the same with news reporting and same with politics. All these tough guys for the last 4 years, who's really tough? Because this will show you who's tough. Democrats have all three chambers or whatever you call it. Now you'll see who's tough. Who's telling you to be afraid? They're not tough. Who's telling you to be paranoid and freak out? They're not tough. Who's telling you to be prepared? Who's telling you to be strong? Who's telling you to be optimistic? That'll show you who's tough, but whatever. Someone said, stay prepared and be aware. Exactly. Be aware, stay prepared. Anything that rhymes with that. Someone said, anomaly get on Bear Terrier. I was at my friend's house and he had the Bear Terrier app and he took a picture or video with me. So I'm on there in my video, but I'm not on there like literally. All right, let's see. Someone said the Great Reset. My last video is about it if you want to watch. I want to say this too. This is another interesting thing. I posted yesterday. If you guys follow me on Twitter or Facebook, Andrew Cuomo, is it Andrew or Chris? I always get the Mario brothers, Mario and Luigi. I always get them confused. But Andrew, the governor, Andrew, he posted, let's open the economy. So if you've been following me on the live streams for months, this was one of my theories or guesses. I said, maybe they'll shut down. Maybe they'll go so much harder on the country. Maybe, and what I was hoping for is they open the country up and try to act like they did it themselves. So it looks like that might be the solution. Let them do it. Obviously they're phonies. Obviously they did all this for the election. Obviously, politics never let a crisis go to waste. But if they want to open the economy up and they want to say, oh, I saved New York, give me a Nobel Prize and I'll write a book about it, whatever. I know they're liars. I know they did this just to sabotage Trump. But if they open up the country, to me, that's still better than them closing it further. So I'm hoping they do that because that would be best case scenario. Look, Biden saved the economy and Biden's just going to be standing there and be like, what do you know? I saved the economy. I'm so much better than Trump. And they're like, whoa, the stocks are booming. Oh my God, small businesses are booming. Yeah, because you stopped being crazy communist socialists. Yeah, okay, wow, good job. Whatever, let them have it. Nobel Prize, Joe Biden, he's just gonna be standing there like barely talking. He's like, I saved the country. Whatever floats you guys' boat. But I'm hoping they do that. That's much better than like a further shutdown. All right. Someone said Cuomo let 66% of the vaccines expire. I don't know that for sure. I would have to look into that, but these mRNA vaccines are weird. You need to keep them at a certain temperature. It's interesting that China's not giving them. America's getting dominated by China. I'm not trying to be mean, but everyone's like, Trump's fighting China. Obviously, Joe Biden's not going to fight China. Obviously, Joe Biden's not going to stand up to China. But Trump was talking about China virus, the China virus. It's the China virus. But meanwhile, he's locking down the country. He doesn't know how to open it. He's pushing mRNA vaccines. He was not fighting China. This is like the reality shattering thing that I think people need to realize. Like they thought Trump was like a video game character where the guy could do no wrong. He didn't do that well last year. And this year, the whole January 6th was kind of sloppily done. I'm going to do a video to defend him in the sense of like why he shouldn't lose all this stuff he's losing. What they're doing is messed up and the double standards are insane. But strategically, like everyone's like, he's playing 10D chess. He's playing 10D chess. The Democrats are playing 10D chess. And I think he just got completely worked this last year. Like in a 10D chess game, you do not want to do January 6th the way Trump did it. So either he's completely in on it or just completely got blindsided. And everybody wants to make up a fantasy like he purposely did it. Now the military's there. Here, I'm just going to be honest. The military, I don't know for sure, but you'll see by the 22nd. I don't think the military's there to save your life. Like everyone's like, oh my God, that proves that the military's there and he passed an emergency order. Trump passed an emergency in DC. It gives them more money, more resources. When Trump passed an emergency order, he sent a bunch of money to Cuomo, Newsom, Murphy. Emergency doesn't mean help you. It means shut down and give people money. When there's an emergency order, the forest is on fire in California, Gavin Newsom gets more money. So when Trump said, the military's there, it's more money to DC. The military's there not for you. They're being used against you to scare you, to make it look like, January 6th could happen again. Maybe it could. I don't think so. But I think they're, and also to protect the Biden inauguration, I think. So, it's like people are clinging on to like, oh man, the military's there. I told you. Yeah, for you, for you, not for you to be used against you. But whatever, you'll figure it out in a week. And all the people that were mad at me, they'll come back or they won't. I don't care. Maybe I blocked them. Maybe I didn't. We'll see. See, all right, I'm going to read this. Truth Warrior, you're the perfect example. Thank you for this, brother. He said, they stole this and Trump isn't going anywhere, so stop with the negative vibes. Your evil, demonic wizardry is not going to work anymore. You're like this is like the work of the devil. I'm not trying to be mean to you, Truth. Your name is Truth Warrior, so you're claiming to be a warrior of truth. I've been totally optimistic, totally smiles, jokes, total optimism, and you say you have negative vibes because you think Trump isn't going anywhere on January 21st. You're doing the work of Satan, not the work of God. Total inversion, inverted reality. I'm a truth warrior. I'm going to tell the lie. You're being optimistic. I'm going to say you're pessimistic. Trump's not going anywhere, even though he literally is going somewhere. You're like a devil worker. So look at yourself, okay? I'm tired of you demons in general. This has been a phenomenon for 3 years. All these accounts, I'm a Q truth warrior. I'm going to harass you. You guys have been more wicked to me than liberals. And I think thank you. I'm going to thank you for it. It woke me up to the reality of, I'm like, people on the right are just as evil and fake as people on the left. They invert reality just the same. Ooh, there's not 10,000 genders, but I'm going to pretend that there's secret military bases under DC that are fighting for me right now. Trump's not going anywhere. It's like there are military bases, but I'm just, in general, it's like, no, you're wrong. But it's so, it's like, there's 20,000, there's only 2 genders, but I'm going to believe that the guy with the horns was right and we're being led to the John Podesta gulag and Gitmo. Like, no, the gulags are for you, not for Podesta. I know you want it to be that, but it's just not what happened. So it's like, thank you. I'll appreciate you guys. You woke me up to just how sick, deranged, and evil a lot of people on the right are. So it's like, obviously I lean right. Conservative values make much more sense to me. The older I get, the more I realize that liberals, politically, I really don't align with much at all. I mean, any liberal value that they used to have that made sense to me, like anti-corporation, save the environment, they're not doing any of it. The whole climate change thing, we're so pro-environment, so we're going to force everybody to wear these made in China masks that millions of them are going into the ocean, millions of them. So you stop plastic straws and you force everyone to wear these masks that are going to go into the ocean. They're not even any left-wing ideology that I could find on the right wing doing it better. So in general, I don't really align with the left at all. Anything that they used to do, anti-corporation, they don't even do. I'm anti-corporation. I'm going to burn down this Starbucks. Yeah, but Starbucks supports you because they have enough Starbuckses. It's like Amazon. You're on the side of all the corporations. So in general, it's like I am right-wing, but I did find out there's a lot of right-wing groups that are just as weird as the left. Thank you. You freed me. You freed me from the two-party deception. Now I'm just going to get too jacked for the gulag. I'm going to fly away. I might, so thank you. I appreciate your deception and your inverted wizardry. Someone said he's actually a lefty, the truth warrior guy. I'm not trying to pick on him, but some people really are this type. And I think this is like, there's going to be, at certain events, there's going to be agent provocateurs. You better believe that feds and agents, they infiltrate every major group that they see as a threat. They've always done so, from Ruby Ridge to, Waco and stuff like that. So that's all real. But there's also really dumb people I'm not trying to be mean, but there are crazy people on the right. Not all of them, but the guy who stormed the Capitol, people that I know were like, we've seen him before. He's like, a lot of the Q thing was like a honeypot for just all sorts. A lot of liberals came over to the right with the Q stuff. Like I know people who hated Trump for the first 3 years of the Trump movement, learned about the Q stuff, became massive Trump supporters, but they didn't understand the full picture. It's like they got a piece of it, like Epstein, pedophiles, Trump's trying to save me. And then they didn't get like all the other parts of it. So they're like all over the place, So in general, I know people that are exactly like that guy. It doesn't mean he's an agent provocateur. It means he's a left winger, gone Q, gone, 70% realizes what's going on, the central bank, blah, blah, blah. But then the other 30%, totally delusional. The central bank's real. So Trump is saving me on the 22nd. Like, no. So, it's like, it's a balance of like, they are going to infiltrate, but at the same time, the self-awareness of like, no, I know people that are like that actually act like that, or else I would think that was an agent, but I know people that are just like that. It's sad. All right. Is this a recording or the real deal? I don't know. This could be a record. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is live. This is live. You kind of freaked me out. I was like, is this a recording? All right, we'll stop. Someone said Bill Gates is fighting climate change and he's working on a jet company or something. Yeah, I read that somewhere. I got to check it out. But I mean, I understand. That's the funny thing. The one guy on my Instagram is like, Anomaly's working for Bill Gates. Anomaly's working for Bill Gates. He's working. It's like, who's done more videos on Bill Gates? If you come to my channel and watch all my Bill Gates videos, you'll learn more authentic information about Bill Gates, who he is, what he funds, and what he's interested in. I don't know if anybody, left wing or right wing, has done more good reporting on Bill Gates. Why would I be working for Bill Gates while I literally show the world? You watch some of my videos, I connect all the dots. Imperial Model, funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That's the one that fooled Trump into locking the country down again. The University of Washington, IHME. I've done it all. It's like, what are you talking about? But whatever. I just think it's funny. I'm going to read this. Bucky Badger said, my cousin sent me this clip saying there was bombings in Moscow and Beijing and that the power was going to go out 11 p.m. last night. These CAI whistleblowers are just Trump supporter traps. For sure. But they've been doing, people don't understand. Like, people like Trump, so they're looking for information that'll tell them that Trump has a secret move. They've been doing this for 3 years. Because I'm into these circles, Martin Geddes, Vincent Kennedy, Praying Medic, all these cute, Jordan Sather, I've had him, I've debated him, had him on my channel. Nice guy, but they're like traps for right wingers. They tell you real things and then they tell you things that are completely made up, and people keep falling. They've been talking about internet blackouts and lockdowns for years. So when the lockdown came around, a lot of the Q people were like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for. Oh, if a blackout happens, it's not good. Turn your refrigerator on. Your food's going to go bad. It's not like Trump has a secret plan to black out, so there's an emergency broadcast. How does that even make sense? Lynn Wood posted about that. Blackout imminent. I'm Lynn Wood, blackout imminent. It's like, why would and he's talking about an emergency broadcast. Why would Trump need a blackout to do an emergency broadcast? Folks, if Trump wanted to do an emergency broadcast to your phone, like an Amber Alert, he could do it without an internet blackout. If there's a total power blackout, your phone might not work properly, depending where you are, if you have service or internet connection. So people don't even use their brains anymore. This is tanking the MAGA movement. People are like, you don't know, he has credibility. It's like, if you don't have the common sense to ask yourself why they would need to black out everybody's power in order to send an emergency broadcast, you're just as far gone as the left, which is why you freed me. That's why I said this. I said, hating Trump supporters is a trap. Hating liberals is a trap. The people running the show are laughing at both sides. They're laughing at Trump supporters just the way they're laughing at liberals. Let's do better this year. Let's get too jacked to go to the gulag. You know what I'm saying? Let's get stronger. Let's get faster. Let's get thinner. If you're too thin, don't get thinner, because then it's not good. Let's build. They destroy, let's build. Let's create. Let's think of solutions. Let's Let's become the resistance. Let's figure out a way to not fall into every little trap that they do. Like January 6th, I don't know if they meant to or not. It was a total trap. They used that. January 6th is now terrorism, Hulu documentary, Trump's getting taken off of banks and stuff. I'm going to do a video about it this week, but it's like, don't jump in the trap. Everybody jumped in the trap. I don't know what happened or how it happened, but it was sloppily done, and I think in general on a chessboard, like the people that I know that love Trump even more than me, they were 100%, I'm not talking 90% certain, 100% certain that January 6th was going to flip the election. So he's bringing millions of people to the Capitol. And because they follow Q, because they follow, all these accounts that tell them about these plans and all these other, hopium dealers, a lot of the people that went there thought they were going to get the results. They're like, I was reading some of these comments, like Trump would never call us to the Capitol if he wasn't going to overturn it. And he kept saying, I got it. I won. It's not his fault. He doesn't deserve to lose his bank. I'm going to defend him in a video, but strategically, was that smart? No, that was all so dumb. It was like super sloppy, super, your supporters don't know up from down anymore. Not smart. And now I'm not saying it to turn on Trump. I'm saying it. He threw everyone under the bus. Now he's getting people banned, censored more. This was always going to come, but it's like, don't jump in the trap. They have 100 traps. You might fall in it eventually, but at least try to like do something. It's like, just jump right in. And like now it's such a mess, but whatever. All right, let me read some stuff. Someone said, I think we need to stop fighting ourselves and worry about China and Russia. Yes, it's deeper than China and Russia, though. I'll say this, like the people in the American government, the people in your own media, the people that have nothing to do with China, there's people in this country that are more influential and more America destroying than even China is. Is China on your side? Obviously not. Is Russia on your side? Of course not. Russia cares about Russia. China cares about China. I don't think the American media cares about America. The Chinese media cares about China, maybe too much so. They censor anything anti-China government. Our media is the invert of China. Like China's media is like a communist media where if you say anything against the state of China, they destroy you. Ours is the opposite. They destroy America. And then anybody who says otherwise gets destroyed by them. So it's like, you got 99 problems. Russia and China are two of them. But I think, I'm not defending China or Russia. Obviously, they play a big part. But like we got a lot of problems here. And if we could solve our problems here, I think we'd be better fit to, deal with China or Russia. But right now, I don't see that as a thing. Satina, what's going on? She said, amen, anomaly. Let's become the resistance. We must unite as Americans, liberals, conservatives, everything in between. They want us to be divided. We can't let them win. United, not divided. Amen. Arla said, when will America care about America? That's a good question. But here's what I want to explain one more time. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be hateful. I have to say this, one, because it's the most censored thing on the internet. And two, it's a really big blind spot for the right wing. But you have two parties right now, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party, in my opinion, is like America last, okay? It's like left-wing ideology, social justice. They don't seem to be that patriotic. They hate nationalism. The left wing, clearly, I think most people here could agree, is not the America First Party. They're not the Prioritize America Party. All right, we know that. We can get past that. All right, here's the part where people have a blind spot. Republicans, Trump, Pompeo, Adelson, Kushner, these type of people, they're not America First either. They'll tweet America First. QAnon supporters think Mike Pompeo is the new Jeff Sessions. He's saving the world. He's Aquaman. It's really pathetic. It's like you guys think, I'm sure Pompeo's a nice guy. I'm sure he did a good job for Trump, but he's not Aquaman here to do a super secret code to save Trump's life. You'll figure it out in a week or two. But in general, these people are Zionists first, which means they serve Israel over America. And the problem is, they think it's anti-Semitic to say that. It's not anti-Semitic. When you pass a speech law for Israel, it's anti-First Amendment. That's anti-American values, and you're doing it for the foreign country that you worship more than America. When Ron Desantis flies over to Israel and signs an anti-Semitism bill in school that provides religious protection for non-religious Jews, Israel, and Judaism, that's not America First. He's providing religious protection for only one religion and some people who aren't even religious. If he really wanted a pro-religion bill, he would have added Christians. He would have added Muslims. He didn't do that. He did it specifically for Israel. So the DeSantises and the Trumps and the Pompeos that you think are America first, they're not America first. And until you realize that, you're always going to get the short end of the stick. You're always going to be a step behind, and you're always going to be confused about why nothing goes your way. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I like Israelis. I've never been to Israel. Maybe one day I would love to go check it out. I have a lot of people I follow that are from Israel. They seem to be really cool. However, I'm an American citizen, and I want to be able to say what I want to say about Saudi Arabia, Israel, America, Trump, Pence. I don't really care. Netanyahu or Gantz, the other guy who he's going against. That's just the truth. Someone said, when did I tune into Owen Benjamin? This is the problem, though. You want to throw, accusations and stuff at me for telling you calmly and kindly and nicely the truth. You don't want the truth. You don't want America first. You don't want to know why you have the short end of the stick. So I don't feel bad for you. You're going to get exactly what you deserve. America last policies, or America third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. And you're going to run in circles with an American flag and say America first, and you're never going to get it. So I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad for the innocent people that want help and are never going to get it. Someone said, what did DeSantis pass? I have a video about it. He passed an anti-Semitism school bill. It was a bill that said it was a religious bill to protect religious rights, but it didn't include Christians. How is it a religious bill if it's only for one religion? And it provided protection for people that aren't even religious in some cases. And the biggest opponents of it, people like that guy try to straw man me and call names. The biggest opponents of that bill were Jewish Floridians. It was a rabbi. It was lawyers who said it's anti-First Amendment. It is anti-First Amendment. So I'm not the only one. There's Jews in Florida who knew that this was a trash anti-First Amendment bill. But that's who DeSantis and Trump are. They serve and worship Zionism over American values. So they don't care. They're pro-First Amendment unless they have a bill or a lobbyist or a donor who tells them that it would be a really good idea to infringe on the First Amendment for that. Someone said liberal talk. Guys, this is why MAGA is a joke. How is this liberal? I support the First Amendment. I could play you a clip of Noam Chomsky, who was left-wing, who said, if you don't agree with speech you disagree with, you don't agree with free speech. You're not truly a free speech advocate. Neither's Trump, neither's DeSantis. This is not liberal talk. This is real conservative talk, real patriot talk that you can't handle because no one else tells you. So if you only agree with speech you agree with, you're not pro-free speech. It's the same with Stalin or Goebbels or, whatever. They agreed with speech they agreed with, which if you want to do that, that's fine. I agree if you agree with me, but if you disagree with me, you're an Islamophobe or you're an anti-Semite. That you don't believe in free speech. That's not free speech. You have to stand up for protests you disagree with. And everyone used to know that. Everyone used to stand up for the worst groups in America. They used to protest in New York City and in Chicago. And free speech advocates on the left wing and right wing used to stand there and say, I don't agree with your protest. However, I agree with your right to protest. And you don't have that in America anymore. Trump passed an executive order with Dershowitz and Kushner that was an anti-Semitism executive order, which aimed to make it illegal on college campuses to protest Israel with boycotts, divestments, sanctions, protests. I'm not a protester of BDS or whatever it's called. That's not my thing. I don't specifically care. Or that's clearly, I would tell you if I cared. It's not my goal in life. It's not something I'm well versed in. But I support the right to protest. Do I agree with it? No. But if I don't support their right to protest, I lose my right to protest. And that's what happened this year. Then Zuckerberg shut down my right to protest the lockdown. So get it? You don't have a Republican Party. You don't have a leader on the right wing, not Charlie Kirk, not Dennis Prager, not Trump, not DeSantis. You don't have one that defends the First Amendment. And that's why you lost it. And that's why you're going to continue to lose it. This is not liberal. This is not anti-Semitic. This is not racist or far left. This is real patriot talk. This is why you have nothing. This is why you have a defunct country where Mitch McConnell is a socialist throwing you a paycheck and the left wing is a communist, because neither party stands up for the Constitution. Neither party serves the interests of the American people. And when I try to point it out respectfully and kindly with zero hate in my heart, zero, I have multiple Jewish friends that I could go to their house and say what I just said, and I obviously have because they're my friends and we have these conversations, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. They don't call it anti-Semitic. They're like, no, that's literally what's happening, because they're not liars. I have probably thousands of Jewish supporters who I meet, and they're like, anomaly. I hung out with my buddy at a protest recently. He's like, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm Jewish, but I get what you're saying. I know people that are Israeli donors that know what I'm talking about is true. It's just a fact. So these straw mans are just the same thing that the left wing does. You're Islamophobic if you believe in the First Amendment. It's a two-party deception. They get you to hate the other side, which is exactly why we're going to keep going back to it. When you hate, you become what you hate. You hate Ilhan Omar so much, you're willing to pass a bill. You hate Nancy Pelosi so much, you don't even look at your own side. You have a gaping blind spot. And we've lost the First Amendment in this country, not just because of liberals, not just because of Fauci, because of Trump, Pence, DeSantis, all these people. They only agree with it for people they agree with. When there's big money interests or big power interests, and I'm telling you, you don't make it in politics unless you do that. Not on the left, not on the right. Ilhan Omar will shut her mouth in a second because she has to shut her mouth. And Pelosi will make her shut it. There's a video of Pelosi who said, if you want me to find it and play it, she said, if our capital crumbled to the ground, if the American capital crumbled to the ground, America would still be giving aid to Israel. That's what Pelosi said. Do you know why? Because even if your country's destroyed, she knows what she has to do. Give money to Israel. And same with Trump. That's the two-party thing that they all have agreed on, because if you don't agree on it, you're not going to be there. If you don't go over like DeSantis did and pass the bill, you're not the governor of Florida. If you don't do what Trump did and sell out the First Amendment executive order, anti-constitutional, anti-protest order, you're not the president. So if you want to understand why you're losing everything and you don't understand that element of it, you're always going to be a day late, a dollar short, and a step behind. And that's just the truth. And, maybe I'll play this clip real quick. This is something that the left wing used to believe. I'm going to do it also so I could drink my coffee. But this is Noam Chomsky, who I disagree with on almost everything. But one thing I always respected about him, although I think his politics suck, is he was always a free speech advocate. And he used to tell left wingers, because you have to understand, he's a left wing Jewish professor who would stand up for the craziest speech, and they'd call him an anti-Semite. And he would say, I'm not anti-Semitic. I just believe in free speech. And I'm going to play the clip in a second. He said, there are only two positions on free speech. Either you believe in all speech for people you disagree with, or you don't believe in free speech. So I'm going to play that clip because he said it best. This was in like the 80s, back when both parties actually had some cojones. Here it is.
I do not think that the state ought to have the right to determine historical truth and to punish people who deviate from it. I'm not willing to give the state that right, even if they happen to fall with
denying that gas chambers ever existed.
But I'm saying, if you believe in freedom of speech, you believe in freedom of speech for views you don't like. I mean, Goebbels was in favor of freedom of speech for views he liked. Right? So was Stalin. If you're in favor of freedom of speech, that means you're in favor of freedom of speech precisely for views you despise. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech. There's two positions you can have on freedom of speech, and you can decide which position you want. With regard to my defense of the utterly offensive, the people who express utterly offensive views, I have the slightest doubt that every commissar says you're defending that person's views. No, I'm not. I'm defending his right to express them. The difference is crucial, and the difference has been understood outside of fascist circles since the 18th century.
So, he's trying to explain then, I'm not defending their views. I'm defending their right to speak it. You don't have a party that does that anymore. Not Shapiro, not Kirk, not Trump. They agree that the left is out of control, but they also pass laws, bills, executive orders aimed at taking away more speech, more protests, and more right to critically think. And in many cases, speak what's real, speak the truth. So someone said ACLU just defended Trump's Twitter censorship. The ACLU is a joke. The ACLU is a fraudulent organization. They're far gone. The ACLU is no longer the American Civil Liberty Union. They're not for civil liberties. They're far left and they're out for blood. So that doesn't surprise me. But this is what I want people to realize, where it's like, if you're on the side and you're fighting, you're going to be the chicken with its head cut off. You're fighting in an arena that doesn't even make sense in the first place. So you're just slowly wearing down. This is going to make or break MAGA. This is going to make or break America. Do the patriots in this country, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, the pro-freedom, the pro-liberty, do the patriots wake up to the blind spots they had? Do they look at this year and say, you know what, I don't like the left. I don't like what they did. I don't like the COVID shutdowns. I don't like Cuomo, but I'm going to self-reflect and figure out what we did wrong to lose all this. That's going to make or break the movement. It's up to you guys. It's like losing a game and blaming the ref. Obviously, I think the ref cheated. However, what mistakes did you make to allow them to cheat? You have to get better. I think any team, in order to win, if you're on a team and all you do is blame the other team, that's the trap. You get what I'm saying? Two teams, they blame each other. None of them get better. They're both a shell of what they once were. The Republican Party is a shell of what it was 50 years ago. The Liberal Party is a shell of what it once was. As far as certain values that they used to protect, you've only lost freedom. The Patriot Act, this, that. They just keep going back and forth and stealing more stuff. So do patriots on the right wing have the ability to self-reflect, evolve, and move on? Or do you want to act like, a kindergarten class and baby, I hate the left, I hate the right, they're the worst, they're the fascists. You get what I'm saying? It's not that you're wrong about what the left is doing, but the whole approach and strategy has been off. And that's really going to make or break it. I don't, I'm only one person. I only have so much influence and reach, but this is why I stand by what I'm saying. I'm not hateful. I'm not pessimistic like people lie and project onto me. I'm not overly being nice. I'm going to be someone who stands up for myself. I understand what might come. The writing on the wall is very clear. Mass deplatforming, mass censorship. In some cases, perhaps even worse. You think I'm not aware of that? I see it just like everyone else sees it, but I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to flail my arms. I'm going to look around, enjoy what I have, be appreciative, be optimistic. But at the same time, if it happens, what do you do? I don't know, like say the things that everybody fears start happening. Oh, well, that's what happens. Now you got to do something about it. There's no really advantage to flailing your arms. If being scared makes you get prepared, then there's some sort of advantage. It's like if a boulder's falling and you run out of the way, there's an advantage. But besides that, move out of the way then. Like there's some people, I'll bring up Owen real quick because I know I started saying when I said like, oh, you're Owen Benjamin. They tried to say that as a diss to me in general. First of all, listen to what I said. Listen to how nice I said it. If you want to do a straw man and call me someone else, that's on you. But to say him, people say he's crazy. People say, oh my God, he went nuts. In some cases, I've even heard him recently. He says, think the way I said it before, that was a trap. He's kind of evolved even in his own life, just like I have and everyone has. But in general, he has a farm. He has a family. He he's going to be fine. It's the people calling him crazy that are stuck in, New York City or stuck in Washington, D.C. or stuck in these conservative circles screaming MAGA that have no idea what to do. They're panicking. They're freaking out. So is he really that crazy? Because he has a farm and a family. If the power grid goes down, he's probably going to be able to eat for a month. He self-sustained and figured out how to create his own stuff, creating applications, creating things. His business and marketing stuff is fantastic. And in general, it's like the people that are the most accusal, you don't have to like them just like you don't have to like me. But it's like, how prepared are you for an internet blackout? I think he's prepared. So it's like, I don't know what's crazy to you. I think it's crazy to do the same things and expect the same results. I think it's crazy to be afraid and angry and mad now at something that we all saw coming for years. So I don't, in general, it's like, people that are always mad at me or other people, it's like, what are you doing? If you really had a solution for what's going on, I don't think you'd be that mad at me. I don't go to people's YouTube channels and scream at them all the time. So I don't know what you're doing. Someone said anomaly. What are you doing when stuff hits the fan? Well, I'm working on certain things. I have goals for the year, but in general, I made moves last year. I was in an area of the city. To be honest, I was right in the middle of Hollywood. That's where I used to live, right in Los Angeles. I didn't have a car. So I lived somewhere out. It was walkable. It was doable. It's been going downhill for years. So I moved. I got to a nicer, safer place that's better, way more way, way, way better than where I was. Way more. If something were to happen, I'm in a lot safer place right now. Am I completely 100% self-sustainable? Absolutely not. But life is a journey. And, I continue to just try to make moves and do things that'll put me in the right position. So do I have all the answers? No, but I'm not really that paranoid, and I'm not really that afraid. I think I have faith in myself. I have faith in the country. I have faith in my community. I'm not really overly pessimistic as much as many people. Things might hit the fan in some senses, but I don't know. If you want to look at a perspective, that a lot of people don't think, let's say COVID-19. Was COVID-19 messed up? Absolutely. Were the lockdowns messed up? Absolutely. I've been one of the most biggest critics of the lockdowns. Trump, Fauci, Pence, Cuomo, Newsom, everybody. I don't like what they did for many, the governors, whatever. But if you want to be optimistic, considering how much damage they did, considering how many restaurants they took down, it was evil. I don't like it for a second, but think about how well our country did. Our country could have been in full-blown civil war. Our country could have freaked out. We could have had food shortages. We did pretty good for what an evil crisis they threw at us. I think we handled it pretty well. Did the whole world collapse? No. Did things go down? For sure. Is there going to be consequences to what they did for a long time? I would assume so. Did homelessness get on the rise and all these evil things? Absolutely. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying it could have been a lot worse, but why wasn't it? Because in my opinion, most people are good people. Obviously, you have people confused, political, but at the end of the day, people got the job done. Truckers kept trucking, farmers kept farming, ShopRite workers and, Ralph's and whatever, Safeway or whatever you guys call yourself, wherever you're at, they kept working. The people who, do the heavy lifting for the country didn't stop. So, I think that's something to look at. You could say that was the worst thing ever, and I think it really was evil, but it's like at the same time, we could have food shortages and stuff, and that still could happen in the future. I'm not saying it can't, but I have faith in myself. I have faith in people. I don't have everything in the world, but I'm working towards it. If I'm better than I was a week ago, I'm happy about it. If I look back where I was a year ago, I'm in a way better position than I was a year ago. Last year I had no money, no nothing, no apartment that was in a safe space. Now I'm 30 steps ahead of where I was. And I try to live in the moment in the sense of like, I could be 100 steps ahead, but I made a lot of progress, in my own self, in my own life. I have, even this, I'll give you something basic. Like I have a stand-up desk now. It makes me look small because it's really tall. The desk is huge. You get what I'm saying? That helps my back so much. I've slept on crappy beds my whole life. My back's hurt my whole life since I've been 18. My back is starting to feel a little better, not completely better, but I finally did myself a favor. I've been working hard. So, as much as it's been bad, I've worked really hard since I was like 19 to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm in a better space. I'm further along than I was a year ago. And that's always been the case. So in general, we'll see what happens, but I don't doom and gloom. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think we'll get through it. And I think, I have faith in making the right moves at the right time. Someone said anomaly try inversion therapy. My buddy had one of those things where you flip upside down. I tried it. We'll see. It felt good, but it was kind of scary. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about. The things where you stick on it and you flip upside down. I tried it. It felt good, but I didn't do it enough to really know if it worked or not. What are those things called again? I don't know. Someone said the mic is in the way. It's fine. It's not really in the way. It's just right there. Who do I want to see run in 2024? That's a good question. I don't know. I think another positive thing about this year is like, I think when Trump won, the whole world shifted. It became Trump world. You know what I'm saying? As soon as he won, Trump is your president. He took over the media. You love Trump or you hate Trump. They couldn't stop talking about Trump. If Jimmy Fallon stops talking about Trump, he loses all his money or whatever. It's like, for the better or worse, it became Trump world and he dominated and liberals went crazy and conservatives got happy. So once COVID-19 world kind of shifted, it threw Trump off his game where Trump world became COVID world. And, COVID world is not a good world to be a leader in. It's like the worst time to be a leader and, maybe by design. But in general, now it's COVID Biden world. it's creepy, but at the same time, in a way, it's freeing. So I don't even really care who wins in 2024. And like, I'll look, I'll watch, I'll give my opinion, I'll still make videos, I'll do news reporting. But in a weird way, it's freeing, where I'm like, I'm starting to see more traps. I'm focused on myself. Even before politics, I was always pretty, I was into self-awareness and doing stuff. So Obama, I don't think he did a lot of policies that helped me. His healthcare definitely did not help me at all. But I didn't really pay attention to politics at all. And in many ways, that was a blessing. Like, Obama just pretended to be like, oh, I shoot basketball. I'm like, oh, I play basketball. In a way, it was better because I didn't, I know a lot now, but it consumed my life. So I'm kind of excited to get to this new space where I'm not going to quit. I'm not bailing, but I'm not a politician. Like, I go to these things. People like me because they see my videos. I don't want to be in politics. I don't want to run for office. I don't care. Like, I'm at a meeting and I like people for who they are. I don't need a handout. I don't want a connection to go somewhere. I don't want that, which is good. So I'm going to say what I say, keep it real, but I don't really care who wins in 2024. I obviously want to see someone better, but as the years go on, someone will rise up. I always liked Trump my whole life because I loved The Apprentice. I didn't know much about business. Trump and The Apprentice taught me about entrepreneurship. So I always respected him for that. That was one of the first lies I could figure out. My Hispanic stepfather, who's Mexican, he said he liked Trump because of the wall. That made me realize Trump wasn't racist, because I'm like, my stepfather is the most Mexican person I know. And I was like, he doesn't think Trump hates Mexicans. That shocked me. And then they kept calling Trump a reality star. He's a reality star. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but no, because The Apprentice was like a kind of an inspirational show for someone like me who didn't know business. So I always liked Trump for that reason. I forgot what I was going to say. Hold on. What was the question? Oh, 2024. He came out of nowhere. I didn't know he was going to run for office. So I think someone's going to come out of nowhere, maybe in 2021 or 2022. So I can't make a decision right now. There's going to have to be someone different, I think, than these other people. But, we'll see what happens. But he came out of nowhere, and I would assume someone else came out of nowhere. Someone said, how old will Biden be in 2024? I'm not on betting things. I can't bet where I am, and I don't really bet on politics anyway. But in general, I would place a bet that there's no way Biden's going to be there in 4 years. I can't imagine that he stays more than a year. His mental capacity combined with, his family's problems with Ukraine or whatever, I don't think he's going to stay for a year. I think they're going to cart him out pretty quickly, and Kamala's going to take over. But I don't know. My guess would be, if there was a bet that Biden's going to be there for 4 years, the favorite position would be that he's not. But I would love to see those odds, because I don't think he's going to be there in 4 years. But we'll see. Someone said Trump did not come out of nowhere. Roger Stone's been courting him for years. Well, I'm saying to the public, I'm sure Roger Stone and him were working, but as far as public knowledge, I didn't see it coming. Yeah, he's been talking about it for decades, but you get what I'm saying. I'll keep my eyes peeled, but I'm excited to talk about stuff, but not be fully into it. I feel free in a lot of ways, because like, when you're so attached to results, it's not healthy, and I think I saw that for a while. But in general, one of the things that like Taoism teaches, that's not my religion, but I find it to be good mental, like tricks and stuff. They say don't be attached to anything, in the sense of like, if you expect attachment, you become disappointed because you expect God-like results out of things that aren't God. And I think that's what happens in politics to, even me at certain points. So I think it's kind of exciting to have a president that I literally expect nothing out of. Trump, my expectations were not high because I didn't really know what he would or wouldn't do. I was like, but I had expectations to some extent. Biden, I have no expectations, none, literally not. There's nothing bad he could do that would shock me. In a way, that's freeing, because he can only do better than I think he's going to do, because I have no expectations. And I kind of want to keep it that way. Anybody in politics, if I like them, I like them, but I don't like him. But I'm saying in general, if I like someone, it'll be nice to not have expectations, because when you have those huge expectations, it's almost like you're only leading to disappointment, and suffering. Exactly. Paul said, I'm hopeful that the next 4 years, hopefully Trump remains. Yeah, I don't think he's going to remain, but we'll see. I mean, he'll be in the country. Someone said Florida, Idaho, talking about secession. It's going to be an interesting 4 years. I know I'm coming with the optimism pills, but everyone's twisting it so negative. It's like, what about this? You have 4 years of Trump, coronavirus with Trump for a year. No one really did anything because Trump was there. Like, he's our guy. Let's see what happens. Let's wait it out. Let's wait till after the election. Now the threat is real. The opposition is there. Let's see what happens. Florida, Texas, like there's going to be some very interesting plays that are made. And I'm not afraid. Like maybe they secede. Maybe we become so polarized to the point where people actually find solutions to what's going on. Because it's like kicking the can down the road. Trump won. This is maybe the media's biggest sin. Trump won because that's what politics was. Obama, Bush, kicking the can down the road, two-party system, all puppets, just doing stuff that nobody liked, total phonies. That's why Trump won. Not because everybody's racist, not because everyone hates other people. Trump won because he was a pulse in a dead arena. So in a way, Trump got everyone's attention. And in many ways, he kind of just kicked the can down the road too. He did some moves that were definitely revolutionary. Others not so much. So, now I think we're at the point where we can't kick the road down any further. We did it for 40 years. That's why Trump won. He was the great hope of like, let's turn this around. He fell short, I believe. And, I feel like it might've been impossible. Maybe there's no one on the planet who could have done it because it's such a sick game. And they threw 6 ways from Sunday. They threw the kitchen sink at him. And the COVID thing, I think, was just like, who can handle that? Like, that's just not even what I didn't like about Trump. I have sympathy to the sense of like, yeah, that's really tough to deal with. But in general now, maybe everybody's looking at it in the sense of like, okay, we can't do this any longer. So maybe Florida makes a move, maybe Texas makes a move, maybe Patriots figure out a way to, do something. So, I think in general, I'm not that worried. I don't know. I almost feel inspired. I feel free. I don't know why, but I think it's because, all right, expectations are gone. The illusion is gone. He's fighting for me. All of that. I'm like, okay, let me get back to the basics. Let me read more. Let me work out more. Let me get stronger. I've been kind of strong. I'm not like really out of shape, but I want to be in like athlete shape. I like playing soccer, basketball. I love sports. I've always been an athlete. I want to be in like peak level athlete shape just because, stuff like that. I'm focused on that. And then it's like, if things go crazy here, let me buy property there. Let me check out Idaho, Montana, Texas. I want to travel more, check out these places. So I don't know. It's kind of adventurous. It's like, whatever, it'll be okay. Steven said, do you think you will start a fitness side to your channel? Let's get right started on something, giving us clear heads. Probably not a fitness channel, but I'll probably just do stupid things like jumping jacks and stuff. I get the jumping jacks going. I might just do some jumping jacks. I don't want to do too many because I drink coffee and it's like too much at once. But, I might just do goofy stuff like that. But at the same time, it's better than just watching news and people yelling at you. So I don't think I'll do a full-blown fitness channel, just stuff like that. I'm going to do more music, but also I'm going to do more, keep doing what I'm doing. More live streams, videos, maybe a podcast at a certain point. I don't know. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to care about it less in the sense of like, not get attached to certain results. Here's what I can do. Here's what I think. Here's what we can do. Solutions, and then put it out and then keep it moving. Someone said, anomaly, should we still vote? That's up to you. I mean, let's see what they can offer, because in a way, this was probably good. Like I'm reading all these headlines and people are saying, oh no, what they're doing to Trump with closing his banks and stuff, that's messed up. I'm doing a whole video on it to really tell the truth about it. But a lot of Republicans are losing their sponsors. Verizon's not going to pay Republicans. So Republicans were masquerading as a people's party, but in reality, they were just another corporate lobbyist party. So now they're losing all their corporate lobbyist money. It's probably good. Now they really have to serve the people. I don't want to see the Republicans completely collapse, but they kind of did. So now if they're smart, they'll rebuild and be better. So in a way, let's see what they do. They have 2 years to rebuild, give them some time. But I find it very funny that they lost all their corporate money. I'm not trying to be mean, but like if they get their Facebook page taken down, I feel bad for them. If they get their Twitter taken away, that's messed up. If they get their bank closed, that's messed up. If Republicans lose their email list, that's all messed up. I don't agree with that. I'm going to stand up for those people. But if they lose their Verizon sponsorship money, I don't care. It's like, oh, wow, you lost $1 million from Verizon. Why were you taking their money in the first place? What were you doing for Verizon? How many of these people were on Google's payroll? I'm not talking about YouTube channels. I'm talking about like getting money from Google. So they go up and pretend like they're fighting Google. They probably never were fighting Google because they had Verizon money. You get what I'm saying? And that's kind of funny. But as far as the censorship, not funny. Losing millions of dollars of like banking money. Oh, the bank is going to stop funding their operation. Like, why were they, maybe that's why they were so useless to begin with. They had all this lobbying money. But I do not like the censorship. I do not like the blacklisting. That's all messed up. We'll see what they do, though. Hopefully they rebuild. Sorry, I'm stretching. Someone said Trump shills the vaccines. Thank God, because that's the reason that I didn't go to the Capitol. That's one of like 3 reasons I didn't go to the Capitol. I could have been there and they would have taken all my accounts down. I would have fell on the sword for literally nothing. Everybody went. Trump's like, come here. He goes there. They condemn him. Everybody loses all their stuff. I'm so grateful that I did not show up that day. But he was ticking me off with all the Moderna tweets. Moderna. I'm like, bro, if I wanted to love Moderna so much, I'd just vote for Bill Gates, which I wouldn't. But you get what I'm saying? That was one of the things that kept me from going to the protests. That and like, I don't like DC. No offense. It's cool. I went to the White House. I'm grateful. But, political town, mostly liberal, like 95% liberal, kind of crime ridden. It's like the White House. And then you got all these people on the street and stuff. Kind of a weird town. Not a fan. It's nice. God bless Abraham Lincoln and stuff. But, anybody who lives there, that's cool. Not for me, really. I try to avoid it as much as possible. Let's see. Talk about being stabbed in the back. I'm all right. Let me see. All right, let's read some stuff. Someone said Trump's about to speak surrounded by the military. Yeah, that'll be interesting. What he speaks in a few minutes, right? All right, I'll get off in a few minutes because I want to check out what he's saying too. So 1 or 2 more things. I guess I'll wrap it up. If you want to stay in touch with me, I have not the best website, but I like it. Stayintouchwithme.com. Isn't that cool? Stayintouchwithme.com. Stayintouchwithme.com. I was like, how do people stay in touch with me? I got the domain. Maybe it'll be worth money someday. I could sell it like property. Maybe not, but whatever. Stayintouchwithme.com. Free email list. You type it in. You put your email in there. You type it in and you sign up. And the best part about my email list is I don't annoy you. I know people want more emails. I hate emails. I get 300 emails every 2 days. No offense. Thank you for your emails. I just can't answer everything. So I try to not annoy people because hey, do you want to buy golf balls every single day? It's like, leave me alone. I don't want to buy a golf ball every day, so I don't want to be that person every day, every week. I find it very annoying. So I do once a month, once every two months, when it's important, when I have something to share. I'm not just going to bang you in the head with sales. I'll do that on my videos, when they're 2 hours long. I'm not going to just email you. So stayintouchwithme.com. The least annoying email list ever. I think literally the least annoying, one of the top 10 least annoying email lists ever. And it's helpful because then when something happens, censorship, whatever, I actually have something, then I can contact you. But I'm not going to bang you in the head with stupid newsletters like, hey, do you want to stretch with me? It's like, I get it. You don't want to hear from me every day. I wouldn't either. So stayintouchwithme.com. That's important. Dreamrare.com, the pink hats are in. If you want one, made in America, very good, very comfortable. This is my favorite product by far that I have because they're awesome. And I mean that, but the pink ones are in. They're going to be out soon. So if you want one, get one sooner than later. If you ever have a problem, real quick, the email invalid thing, I don't understand. Keep trying it. There's a way to do it so it works. But if anybody ever has a problem with my hats or shirts, email me, email the contact email that contacted you, and I'll get it all done. Sometimes things run out of order or the stock size is wrong. I've refunded everybody that happens, but sometimes things slip through the crack. It shouldn't, but if it ever does, email me, you'll get a full refund. I'm giving out refunds like candy. Like people are like mess up all the time. Like I put the wrong, people who mess up, I shouldn't even give you a refund, but I do anyway because I feel bad. But it's like I put the wrong address. It's like, all right, we'll take a refund, just put it in right next time. It's fine. But just email me if you ever have a problem. But 99% of people don't have problems. But if you do, I'll take care of it. No worries. All right, I'm taking off. I'm gonna watch the Trump speech too. So dreamrare.com, stayintouchwithme.com, and thank you everyone here. I'll be back soon, and don't buy into the fear. Let's see what Trump has to say. Very interesting stuff. I haven't heard from him in 3 days, so I want to check it out too. God bless you guys, and have a good week. I'll be back very, very soon. Let's see.